Fat guy in a little coat. Fat guy in a little coat. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? Chris Farley. Yeah. Yeah. Mm, 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 mm. What's up, Dax on Brunt? Boots. I think he meant burnt boots. I think he said, fuck it. You misspelled it and didn't even care. That's even crazier than the name. Uh-huh. Tight shots. What's up, y'all? Agent 9, what's up, man? He hit me up on IG. I think I locked you in, though. I followed you. What's up with y'all, man? Yeah, man, it's 11 y'all on here. I got to run back to the city again to give these people their psych meds, man. So I'm going to go ahead and do this live real quick, and then I'm going to take off and go back to Philly. But there's 15 of y'all in here, so I guess it ain't no need to really wait. I say what's up to the 3 of y'all who in the chats, though. Alpha Mason, Agent 9, Dax on. What's up with y'all? I feel smooth, feel calm, man. Thanks for asking. I know nobody asked me that shit, but still, I feel great. Thanks for asking, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I haven't been on the Cowboys side of things since this happened, so I will say, what's up, Jim Hunter? I will say, on this side, let's do another rest in peace to Marshawn Nealon, because I haven't said that officially on this channel. I said it when I was talking to Akoye Knows Boxing, but yeah, I mean, we don't have to go through the whole rigmarole. One thing I will say though, man, shame on a lot of you motherfuckers, not you guys. I don't know if any of y'all the ones who have done it. I don't know who watching, but I see, and I'm not gonna name no names, but I don't like virtue signals or false or fake outrage or fake sorrow, man. It's just annoying. When everybody's now taking the time to be, extra emotional as it pertains to their mental health and so on. And to each his own. Do what you want to do, but I don't really. The reason I haven't spoken on it is, and I'm not like, I guess I'm judgmental. I say I'm not judgmental, but I'm judging by not doing it. It's still a judgment. But yeah, I don't get down with the shit, man. I don't like all that shit, man. Because I didn't know the young brother, you know what I mean? But I do, wish him well, and I hope he rests well. I hope his family's doing all right. But I know that's something that you really can't get over. But his family wise, they're gonna feel that forever. But who knows what he was going through, and it is something to speak to in regards to checking in on the people you care about. But I'm not going to take it no further than that and try to make a whole show about the crisis hotline and how my mind is doing. You know what I mean? Because that ain't what his spotlight or his life should be about. So I ain't gonna do that. But yeah, y'all know what it is. What up, Davey? What up, Hawk? Yo, Sadiqa back in the building. Dave Jenkins, what's up? He said, Quick, could I get a moderator role? If I could give it out on this page, I would, but I can't on StreamYard. I'm using StreamYard right now. When I go live from YouTube directly, I can create moderators, but I'm not in there, man. So I can't do it right this second. But I will, Davey. I won't forget. You deserve it. Excuse me. Tarek B, he said, what's up, big dog? What's good with you, man? He said, Murdoch, he said, what's good, everyone? Marcus Montgomery, he said, what's good, Akoye? Don't forget about Perryon Winfrey, too. Oh, yeah, I just ain't put him up there, but Perryon Winfrey definitely makes this line a little crazier. But I'm going to just go right into the film in a second. Y'all know I get buzzed every time I do this, John, and it's really getting disheartening. I ain't going to lie. Every time I go live, most of the time I go live, they zap me before I even get to finish talking about what I'm talking about. So I just get off the joint, man. Now it's kind of crazy. But hey, let me put it up here, man. Let's get the film started because, like I said, I gotta get back to the city to give these meds out to my. I got people that's in the houses that's going crazy too. I got people who actually, they be going in, man. I'll tell y'all about it some other day, but definitely, some funny stories, man. I run a home. I ain't gonna call it nothing crazy because he called his patients insane asylum patients or some shit like that. Yeah, HIPAA might get me, so I ain't even gonna talk about him. Y'all might get me. Revel Demo. He said Davey said Revel, Demo, Williams, Wilson, all are upgrades. Facts. Sports Guru said Crisis Hotline. Yeah. All right, here we go. Let's go. Let's get the film started real quick. Now, I've been watching this man for a little while, right? I've been on some Quinnen Williams tape for a while, right? I've been watching him just to get an understanding for what I want in a defensive tackle. So I'm very familiar with a lot of the games that he's played and the performances he's had. Because, like I said, I don't watch TV. I just sit and habitually sickeningly watch film sometimes. But one thing I could say is like the implications and a thing that I see a lot of content creators doing, which we all do. You know, you get a new toy, people got new toy syndrome because I hear a lot of people talking about this Quinnen Williams, Quinnen Williams, Quinnen Williams, Quinnen Williams, as if it's just the Quinnen Williams and Osa show now, as if Osa's the second best defensive tackle on his team. And no disrespect to Osa, but I guess this will be or feel disrespectful to those who think otherwise. Osa is the fourth best defensive tackle on this team now, maybe fifth, because I don't know what Perrion really got. But Osa now is your fourth best defensive tackle. So we're talking about the Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams show when it comes to interior tackles, unless we're playing that five down look, which we'll see in a second. But I wanted you guys to just look at what it could look like when you have two nose tackles on the field, because that's what the Jets were doing. So number 97 is a nose tackle. So is Quinnen Williams is a nose tackle slash three tech slash whatever you want him to do in the interior. He is that. So I guess you can say he's playing three tech right now, but he's a nose tackle. Or he could play nose tackle and one tech very well. But so can Kenny Clark. I don't look at Kenny Clark as like a scrub or somebody who's like average. Kenny Clark is a beast, and he's been a beast for us. It just right next to him he had Osa, who was doing some things like this. And I'm not trying to embarrass Osa, but let's get to the play. Let's see. This play here, he didn't really get washed. This was just a similar role. But Osa, I think this is one of his good plays, actually. But he can play well in this position here. And this is why I say him and Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams next to each other. So Quinnen Williams would be where who is this over here? I think that's Ezraku right here with his two hands down. I'm not sure who it is with the white sleeves, but that's where he'll likely be playing 4I, and then Kenny Clark will be right where he is right now. But so Quinnen and Kenny will be on the field, and this will allow Osa to get a lot more of these types of looks where people either don't bother to block him or he'll be able to deal with one-on-ones because you can't double team everybody with those guys out here. You know what I'm saying? So Osa will stop looking like that or like stop looking like this, should I say, these types of plays. I think I got to no, this one's actually a good one too. Osa's going to nice knife in here this time. But this is another, so you can't see right now because, well, you can't see him. He's here. But Leah Fowler's on the field. When Leah Fowler's on the field, even though on this particular play, they're just in a regular 4-3 set, 8-man in the box. That's why he's back now off ball. But usually when you see Leah Fowler on the field, he's standing outside of where the late Nealand is currently. And they're in that 5 down or 3-4, whatever you want to call it, type of look. And when you have that line occupied or crowded, Osa not being double team allows him to just be more chaotic like he is here. He splits the double team here, just gets upfield. Boom. This is the thing. This is what you're going to see a lot of with Quinnen Williams here. Osa is going to get off, and you might see Osa make more plays than Quinnen Williams. Why? Because Quinnen Williams is going to be freeing him up to just get upfield and be nasty. So Osa's stats, just like when Micah Parsons was here, will likely improve due to the fact that Quinnen Williams is here. This is Quincy Williams taking advantage of what Quinnen and that other nose tackle are doing. You see, both of them are pushing the pocket, are playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage, which allowed that gap right there so he can undercut this, along with what 72 was doing by resetting the edge continuously. But we looked at some of this film already. I just wanted you to look at what Quinnen Williams is able to do. Why? Because, like I said, I hear a lot of talk about Quinnen and Osa. I don't hear a lot about what both he and Clark will do in the middle of the field. Quinnen Williams and Clark in the middle of the field is a game changer immediately. Both of them can flow down the line of scrimmage, and both of them can crash into the backfield with no problem. Occupying the A gap, doing whatever they need to do. They are very disruptive, both of them. And then you got Osa, who's now your third, fourth best defensive tackle. I think Solomon Thomas is playing a little bit better than Osa, to be honest, when he gets his reps. It's just he's not going to be the starter because he's not the one they invested in. But either way, our defensive line room, 5 men deep, is pretty sick. Even when you add Perrion Winfrey would be that fifth guy. All those guys in rotation is something that we want. Shout out to Mozzie. I'm glad Mozzie was here, but he didn't get his opportunity to do what he needed to do. I don't think he got a fair shake here, so it's probably best for him not to be here as well, right? But when you look at what the Cowboys are trying to do or what they're trying to put on tape now, you can see they're committed to being physical on both sides of the trenches and having Quinnen Williams doing things like he's doing here, man. Quinnen is he's not only smart, but he's hella physical and he's just nasty and he sets the tone. And I thought that Clark was already that type of guy that fought through injuries this season for us already, showed toughness. He showed some improvement in regards to us being a more physical defense. It's just that when he was rotating out, especially when Jay Toye was in there, when he rotates out, we would have a gap in our defensive line, or we go flat when Mozzie was in. I mean, Mozzie wasn't doing much; they weren't running at him, but he wasn't disruptive either. Get what I'm saying? So at the same time, like having it now with you, we have Quinnen Williams and Clark on the same team with an Osa and a Winfrey. This is a play that I was talking about. Like Osa got to stop giving up those, but I made it fair because Quinnen actually did the same. This is on a obvious pass play, so he's trying to get upfield. He's not thinking run. So we caught him with a draw play here. And I think the defensive end missed that tackle. So I was showing at the show that I think I said this on another live too, that he's human and he's not going to just come in and make it so that nobody can make a play or deal with him at all. But Quinnen Williams and Clark together is like this. This is a wall, right? And this is what your linebackers are going to be able to do. Let me go back to that real quick. Your linebackers, watch both Quincy and 51. I forgot what 51's name is. He's a Samoan guy. But just watch. The entire line is occupied by four guys. So Quinnen and whoever number 97 is. You see 97 holding? They're both holding this entire offensive line. Neither one of these guys are trying to get upfield on this particular play. They're just trying to occupy the offensive line and keep them away from those linebackers. That's what all of them are doing. And neither one of them are going to get touched at all. Neither one. When your linebackers don't get touched, trust me, that's where you get all pros, Pro Bowls, and big plays because your linebackers are able to run and hit and play free. So, like I said, I wanted to jump into the film and look at some Quinnen Williams real quick before I run back down to the city, and we will be diving into some more film. I think I'll play it back while I talk because you like to watch film, so I'll just play it back just for no reason. But let me read some of the stuff that y'all saying in here while I do that. All right, let me see. My dog squinting the eyes again. What up, Akoye? Yeah. I'm squinting. My glasses upstairs. He said, please support the channel by Cash App. That's what Sadiqa said. Thank you, Sadiqa. Definitely support it there, and I will put the app up here once my app is done, and you guys could support it that way. But just watch the film while we talk, or while I go through these questions. He said, "What's good, bro? I think that our secondary is about to play well because of Mr. Williams. Well, your secondary is going to play well because of Mr. Williams for this reason. On first and second downs, we can make it third and long on a regular basis. And when you got third and long, you got third and desperate for most offenses. And if Eberflus could stop playing soft as Q-tip cotton when it comes to the cushion that he's given pre-snap, and I know that he must be coaching that in because we do it on a regular basis. But if we can stop being so soft in our coverage and kind of sit on some of those routes, we definitely can get better in our secondary if we got a little bit more aggressive. But I think all of the big plays that they gave up early makes them a little hesitant to play as aggressive as they might want to at this stage. You know what I mean? But good question. The firm of Williams and Clark will definitely be a good defense up front. That's a fact, King Reezy. Sadiqa said Vach was the only one that spoke on Williams and Clark. Vach always know what's up for the most part. You know what I mean? He crazy sometimes, but Vach be knowing the shit. You better hope they don't get you this time, fam. They got you last time. Yeah, that's why it's gonna be a short one. I ain't going for an hour. I'm gonna make these quick from now on because I think people be snitching on me. I think that's what it is because they don't say nothing in the beginning. They say I'm copyright free, and then all of a sudden I get a copyright, and it's only me because I see other people doing it. I don't see a bunch of people getting strikes, but Sadiqa told me that there's other people that it happens to, so maybe I'm wrong. It should definitely allow more playmaking from our linebacker and ends. For sure. Your ends are going to be playing one-on-one on a regular basis now. So when you look at guys like Clowney, he's definitely going to benefit because Clowney's actually starting to come on and play with good leverage now as well. Then you got Sam Williams, who doesn't have the leverage on that leg to I think counter as good as he used to because he's coming back from that injury. So he's not going to be countering that well. He hasn't been this season. But now dealing with one-on-ones, he might not have to, and he can stunt a little bit more because all we've been doing with him is just using his straight line running ability, like having him spy and do certain things like that. But we haven't really been utilizing him as a premier pass rusher because I don't think Sam Williams is capable of giving you counters at this point. And nobody wants to say that publicly because obviously it gives the opposition a tell that they already kind of know, you know what I mean, if they watch the film. But I'm not judging Sam Williams this season. I know he has to play through it due to the fact that you gotta knock the rust off of that knee now that you got the surgery. But I don't expect very much from Sam Williams, to be quite honest, not this season. However, I think that Quinnen Williams being there will make it easier on him this season. I'm expecting more like 5, maybe 6 sacks out of Sam Williams this season due to that. But yeah, Quinnen Williams is definitely a show, on his own. He said, "I hope they hope they don't get you this time." Yeah, me too. Uh, Formless done. Thanks, Shadiddy X. He just sent some. Appreciate that. All right, let me get out of there. They's about to get me. But yeah. So anyway, when you look at guys, a guy I'm really disappointed, and I know he's injured, so I can't say too much. But a guy I'm disappointed in, man, in the secondary, since we spoke on the secondary, is Wanye Thomas, man. I feel like the time that Hooker had out and Dono was his time to shine. And I know some people deal with imposter syndrome. Some people deal with just bad luck, whatever it may be. Maybe it's a combination of both, but getting severe migraines and non-football injuries makes me think like, man, maybe the pressure, the spotlight might be too much for you or whatever. I don't know what it is, but for him to be out now is just crazy. Like, bro, this was your time to take over the position. And now we back to Hooker and Dono. So very disappointed in Wanye Thomas's injury updates and the fact that he just went on IR. I think today or yesterday he went on IR. But man, that's a bad jump. You know what I mean? I didn't want that for him. I wanted him to step up and solidify himself in that starting position. He didn't. So I am disappointed in that, but getting Siobhan Revel active now and Demo active now, um, before we come back from the bye, I think is huge because when you look at Demo and the fact that Eberflus likes to play with his base, when you look at Demo and the way he plays ball, if he's playing true will, and right now you got Logan Wilson, you got I would say Murray and Demo on the field. I think that's going to be your three because those are your three best linebackers, or Morris, Logan, and Murray. Because here's the problem with it's going to be a fight between Murray and Morris now because Murray has the coverage ability, but he's really a will, and Demo's really a will. Who knows how well he can get in and out of breaks right now? But both Murray and Demo play the same position. Murray is not really a Sam linebacker. He's not like aggressive, right? Morris' main position, if he's not playing middle linebacker, he could play any spot, but he's not great in coverage. He's okay. He can play zone. He's not a man cover guy. But he's really a Sam. Like he thinks like a Sam. And if you're going to play three linebackers, you got to argue whether or not you put Murray in there over Morris or vice versa. But I think the other two spots definitely are Logan Wilson and Demo. So we already got better in our front seven, regardless of what happens or regardless of what that rotation is. And now with Revel coming back, I'm just curious. I'm not one of those guys who's gonna put a lot of pressure on Revel. Like we put too much pressure, especially in Cowboy Nation. We put a lot of pressure on rookies, and it makes us cannibalize them because if they come out the gate swinging, we expect that all day, every day, and then you create a monster like we did in Micah Parsons. And because once you show someone excellence, they expect excellence every time, right? And then if they don't come out the gate swinging, we call them a bust after 2 games because we're experts like that. And now this fan base as opposed to others, that's bad for you when you get behind the 8 ball in regards to narratives around here because it's not like you're dealing with just the Cowboys.com or just the ESPNs of the world. You got those guys talking about you. But then even if you're just a kicker, it don't matter who you are. We get down to the oils with the film, so it becomes an echo chamber, especially amongst all of the content creators because they're just looking for the next view. So now you got to get you hearing it from the coach, you're hearing it from ESPN, you're hearing it from your wife, then you go home and you say, I'm gonna turn on YouTube, and now your algorithm is giving you me and everybody else to try to put their foot up your ass. You know what I'm saying? So it's real hard if you don't come out the gate swinging in the Cowboy Nation because you're gonna hear about it. And if you're not the type to have thick skin or be able to deal with the pivots and the adversity that comes with being in that type of spotlight, it's hard. I mean, that's why my hat goes off to Dak because nobody was harder on Dak than me. Like I was killing him to the point where a lot of y'all still, some people still don't like me from that era, and that was 9 years ago. But still, 8 years ago, something like that. But still, Dak has to deal with a lot, and then even when he's performing well, you don't hear people talk about it as much as you would in another market because of the hatred that a lot of people have for the Cowboys because of the notoriety that they get. So if you don't come out the gate swinging, long story short, you have a hard time here, or you can. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of these young guys, Mozzie Smith included, it's a combination of scheme and temperament. I don't think this was the best place for a guy who wasn't able to pivot with those defensive coordinator changes that we've had here and the regime changes, all the different things they was asking of him. I think he's one of those guys that's slow to learn, but once he gets there, he got it and he hadn't gotten time to really develop into what he naturally would be. I watched this game over in New York last weekend, and he looked okay. He looked pretty good. Didn't play the entire game, but he made I think 2 tackles in the backfield. Looked pretty good. But like I said, I think that this was a good move for him too. But with the guys that we have on defense, Revel included, I'm not going to put the pressure on him. I want to see what he's able to do just mixed in. I am looking for somebody to replace Elam because I think Elam is soft as Q-tip cotton when it comes to coming up and making tackles. I don't know why we don't hear about that more because we hear about Diggs, but I see Diggs coming down to make plays where I'm gonna show you Elam really don't be wanting no smoke. I think I got the defense versus Denver. Let me see if I got that. Let me see. This ain't it. Let me see if I got Denver in here. No, this is just Arizona. Elam probably don't want to tackle in this either, but I think we had solved the problem by the time we got to that game. Let me see what else we got. I got Denver somewhere though. But that Denver footage when we gave up that big play, it was like, yo, come on, bro. What you doing? Let's see. That's Denver's defense. Don't need that one. Denver defense is like, yeah, they sickening to watch on film. I like watching them. They good on film. Let me see. All right. Yep, I don't got it. I don't think I have Elam, but let me see what's on this film. Oh, there he is, there on the side, but that's not the play. This Morris knocking out guys, man. I remember that play. Morris, man. I've been on the Morris argument train for a nice little minute. Morris got to get some more playing time, man, because doing shit like this. Let me see. Let me see where that play at. Did I get the whole play? Yeah. This play right here is just mean, man. Morris. Smack. I love young bull, man. I love young bull. Let me see if Elam is on this one. Is this Elam? No, that ain't Elam. That was actually Mozzie making a play on that one. Mozzie gone now, man. Yeah, I don't think I got any Elam footage on this one. Nah, nah, I don't. But just know that the dude didn't want no smoke, man. I don't got time to find it for you. But Elam don't want no goddamn smoke. So I'm looking to get Elam off the field because of how soft he is when it comes to him wanting to come up and tackle. Because a lot of those big plays, especially that big run by Denver, Denver only got those some of these plays that they got off on us because Elam just didn't want to stick his head in there. And I'm like, yo, yeah, he playing like a nut. So I am looking for somebody to replace him, but I'm thinking maybe that can be Carson, Caleb Carson for right now. And then hopefully Revel can ease his way back in there. But I've heard good things about him as far as where he is right now. I heard Boss talking to his father about and that's Revel's father about his availability. So hopefully that's true. Let me see. Let me see what y'all said. Anthony Hemingway, Akoye, what's up, brother? Thought I'd stop by and show some love to the channel and show if it's cool. I got one question. Do you think Diggs coming back this game or next game? Brother, stay blessed. I would love to see Diggs back, bruh. I don't know what's going on with Diggs, but I mean, hopefully, if it was more of a prima donna type energy, like man, I don't like Eberflus or whatever. Hopefully, what he's seen after he went to the bench or went to IR has helped him because Eberflus has played more man as requested, and I've seen a lot of opportunities for Diggs to shine in those looks. He's just not here, but we would love to have him back, especially given less pressure to Bland. I think Bland needs to be able to just be that chess piece that moves around and kind of fills in when we need him. But asking him to just be the number one eraser, I think it's a little bit too much asking him to follow everybody around. It's not his thing. Like just put him in a nickel or put him in zone situations or put him on the outside if you need him. But I'd rather Diggs be the guy that you force targets at, not Bland. Bland should be the guy where it's like, let him sneak up on you because you can't throw at Diggs. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what makes the two of them work best. So yeah, I think he should be back soon. I think that the reason he was really stepping out is because part something might have happened to him for real, but the other half of it is I don't think he liked the direction in which we were going. But Logan Wilson and Quinnen Williams, I think, can change a lot of minds. They changed mine because I was done with the season prior to that trade week. I swear to God, I was done. Y'all was gonna be mad at me because I'm like, I got better things to do. I'm gonna go make some fucking money, man. I ain't got time to be sitting here hoping for some shit that I know ain't gonna happen. We ain't gonna win. All right, we're cool then. Fuck it. I'm just enjoy Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? But I'm here, so it is what it is. Akoye, have you broke down Rebels college film? I can. I will if you want me to. Yeah, sure. I'll break it down. I gotta get somebody to give it to me, but I'll break it down for you. No problem. Glazer adding Alexander has decided to step away from football. Adding that Alexander. What are you talking about? Glazer adding that Alexander has decided to step away from football to try to focus on getting himself right physically and mentally ahead of potential decision. Who was Alexander? What are you talking about? Who? Oh, Jair. What? What? Damn, he said, fuck this shit. He don't like Philly. Well, man. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even know that. I thought he was cool. Didn't they just trade for him? Then they traded for Buddy, and he's like, I don't even want to play in Philly. He came to Philly. He came to Philly, walked down Broad Street one time. They said, somebody said, you nut ass, you know what I mean? And he was just like, nah, I gotta get back to Wisconsin because this shit ain't for me. Can you show me film of any of our corners making a play on the ball? Yeah, I can. I think only in the Washington game. Yeah, only in Washington. I don't think none of them does shit other than that. They don't really get opportunities to do it though, because we play soft, loose coochie zone. You ain't gonna really get much in that. How Logan Wilson lead our team in pass breakups already? Because Logan Wilson actually in coverage is sickening. Like this dude is like Tetris. He all over the place, fitting in zone windows like it ain't nothing, man. Who replaces Elam? Carson or Revel or Diggs or anybody? Uh, he said, "Yeah, Elam's softest film ever seen. Yeah, Elam is definitely soft." Tariq, he said, "Peace, long time, bros. So motive B, yes sir. Peace, man. Peace, peace, peace. Travel light, travel light." Carson and Revel, OS and Bland in the slot and is what Dallas needs to happen. No, you need Diggs back. I don't know why I keep talking like people keep talking. One thing I don't like about the Cowboy fans is like we forget things real fast, and we forget that Diggs is a player, man. To think that Diggs is not who he is because of what? If people say he injured or he trash now, I don't like the fans, most of the fans that think this way because you can't get to the player. You can't really get the juice out of a player because we ready to get him out of here as soon as he don't play well. I've watched a lot of Hall of Fame have slumps, a lot of them. Nobody's perfect all the way out all the time. It's just that people like me are part of the problem because I will look at a guy getting pancaked and you see because you're watching it and repeat, 15 times, it looks horrible, right? Not realizing that, like I said, like I showed Quinnen Williams getting beat for 66 earlier on that 66 yards against JW, right? It happens to the best of them. It's gonna happen to everybody. The difference is we want you to make some plays in between. And Diggs is one of those guys. He gonna get beat. So is Bland. But it's never been that I'm looking at when it comes to a corner. My thing when it comes to a corner is your probability rate. Meaning if you continuously throw 10, like those quarterbacks that like to throw 10, 15 targets at one guy, like they force feed the ball to guys like AB back in the day with Ben Roethlisberger. We're gonna talk about that too in a second. But you can't do that if you're gonna throw the ball at Diggs 10 times. I'm like, he gonna get you eventually. Or if you throw the ball at Bland 10, 15 times, he's gonna get you. So that's how I look at those guys. I don't look at them as like they're gonna be shut down corners where you're not gonna bother throwing the ball at all because they playing out of phase and they just not letting you deal with. No, 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 no. He looking for the ball and you're gonna beat them with double moves if the pass rush doesn't get there. That's just what comes with Diggs. Deal with it. But Diggs is elite. So stop trying. I don't want Bridges. Rebel's cool. I don't want Rebel over Diggs. Hey, Carson cool, but give me Diggs. You know what I'm saying? Elam, yeah, you cool in coverage. You okay? You know what I mean? But give me Diggs. Bland and Diggs is my starting corners, man. I'm not I'm not moving away from that. That's dumb as hell to do. And you guys might think I'm tripping when I say that, but all the talk about Diggs even not tackling. Diggs tackle more than Elam. You know what I'm saying? He tackle better than Carson too. And I don't know Revel. I don't know you. You know what I'm saying? But you're coming off an injury. I don't know Revel. You know what I'm saying? But come on, man. He said, thoughts on the right tackle, Still. My thoughts on Still have never changed. Still is average in pass protection, but he's much, much better. Oh, yeah, I still like Butler too, Troy. Yeah, I forgot about Josh, but Josh Butler can ball. Like he could play. But back to the Still question. I gotta go in a second too. But not yet. But I got some minutes. But Still is who I thought he was average and pass pro. But what made Still good back in the day is the same thing that makes him good now. When I liked Still is when he was with um what's his name? Kellen Moore. And Kellen Moore knew what to do with him. Kellen Moore would send him out in space and let him use his legs and his athleticism to move guys. And then it became easier for him to pass pro because you had play action to deal with, and he was wearing guys out, blocking them. Like if he's moving forward, Still is still. Still is a problem when you ask him to play pass pro and just stand firm as a wall. He's not that guy. You know what I'm saying? He's not that guy. He's a guy that's better against speed rushers than he is against power. And if you got any power counters to the inside, he struggles with that because he had that ACL tear on his left foot and he's still not like super strong there. You know what I mean? His left set when he resets to his left and tries to cut off those inside moves, I've seen him get carried. But that's going to happen. So, do we need to consider putting somebody in or replacing him eventually? Yeah. But is he good enough to win? Of course. Of course he is. Of course he is. That's how I feel about him. I think he's good, but not great. This Jaden Blue accountability shit is corny. At least 7 other players are playing worse. I don't. I think sometimes people say things to you think that it's like, and just like I thought with Mozzie, was like, oh man, consistency. Yeah, but sometimes you try and protect the player. I think with Mozzie, they've been trying to trade him all year because I heard from, and I'll tell you now, I heard from I won't even say it. I still don't want to put it out there. I heard from a player's father though that Mozzie Smith has wanted to be traded since the beginning of the season because he didn't think he'd get a fair shake here. I heard that several times this season. So when he was inactive, you notice I haven't been arguing a lot about the inactive. I want to see him, but I kind of understood. But if it was because of consistency, then no, because you can't tell me Jay Toya was better. But I think they're trying to protect Jaden Blue with the consistency, accountability thing. Because Jaden Blue, he's soft as Q-tip cotton, man. I think what they were saying about him being lazy and off, they wasn't lying about that, man. When I watch him play, it just seemed like you still think because you're a supreme athlete that's all it takes. And you're in the NFL, that fast shit don't mean nothing. They seen the 8 chains and guys who can run 4.2. You got defensive linemen that's running 4.6 right with you. You know what I'm saying? Defensive tackles, right with you. They don't care about none of that. So I think he's soft. You know what I mean? And he only 5'9", 196 pounds. And he ain't that big. So, he gotta ease his way in there. I don't think he that guy. You know what I mean? Yeah, he was tiptoeing that Denver game and got smacked. Yep. He damn sure was. Hold up. After the news on our safety, Wanye Thomas, do you think we should pick up another safety like Justin Simmons or Juan Thornhill? Is Justin Simmons a free agent? He's a free agent? I thought he was on the team. If you're a free agent, yeah, go get Justin Simmons if you want to play. But don't think that because guys in their names and they're on the in they free agents that they still good. They could something wrong with them if they're still sitting there. I look at it like that. If you still sitting and you got the goods, I mean, it ain't that many Bobby Wagners in the world where he's just sitting on the bench or sitting on the free agency or Clownies. There ain't that many of them just sitting out there. You know, you might say Stefan Gilmore if he was still out there, if he's still out there, maybe go get him and move him around. I would like to do that, but yeah, I think it's time for a guy like him to play safety though. Stefan Gilmore can probably play 3 or 4 more years as a safety. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't think Wanya ain't gonna be going that long. I think the reason they're putting him on IR is because they're expecting to get um, Hooker back. I'm not expecting toughness out of Blue though. Pollard wasn't necessarily tough in my opinion. You got a point with the Pollard convo, but Pollard was nasty though. He was nastier than that. Pollard will hit you. He will run at you. Pollard wasn't like you hit him and it looked like he worse for wear every time you hit him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I can't really say. He said, I hear Gilly lost his step. That's why I said let him play safety. Yeah, he could lost a step, but he can still get sideline to sideline, no problem. Yeah, no problem. And when you catch him in a transition where he's, stuck on a wide receiver, you don't care. You're like, all right. You catch him on a tight end, you don't care. All right, cool. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't mind that. Koye, time will tell who you keep next year, Clark or Osa. I'm keeping Clark all day right now. Osa can go. You know what I'm saying? He cool, but I like Osa, but Osa, no. If it came out of Osa and Clark, I'm keeping Clark all day. When y'all remember Marcus Stroud and John Henderson, both of them dudes, like two one techs that played for Jacksonville for so long. That's what you need. Like you got a great wall. You're gonna have a triangle defense no matter what with both those guys, with Clark and Quinnen Williams, and then we go draft somebody third within the first 3 rounds. Again, get us another defensive tackle in here that's upwards 300 pounds. I don't want no more small guys like Osa unless we're playing 3-4 and he's playing 4-I. I don't want anybody else in our interior that's sub 300 pounds. I really don't. I want somebody that can play both run and the pass. We don't need anybody else in here that's just a pass rusher from your interior because we already see what happens with that. They're just gonna run at you. Aaron Donald had to deal with that. He was an undersized 275 defensive tackle. People forget that because of how elite he was at wrecking the game versus the pass, but he couldn't stop the run very well. You run right at him, you had some success. And if you got up on him, he was quiet. So I think that, that experiment for us, it hasn't worked out. I don't want the 280 guy that's in there, man. I just really don't. Unless you're using them like the Jets used to use Solomon Thomas, meaning he's just in there to be a torpedo on certain plays, but you weren't asking him to anchor. You were asking him to attack, and attack. Osa's taking on double teams like on a regular basis because of the way teams want to play us. And when you played big nickel for so long, that Osa was just getting blown out of there, right? And now that we got Clark in there. That does not happen, but it still was looking bad. Let me give you some examples of what I mean. Maybe I got some film of it. Now remember, I don't have this particular conversation already locked in. So whatever I find is just me looking at some shit. Let me see. A run defense. I don't know what game this is. This might work. Let's watch Osa. Damn, right off the start. Look at this. Let's watch Osa from the start. Boom. Double team, right? Let's watch where he goes. He's gone. They took Osa and just moved him. But he was moving. That number 79 was moving Micah Parsons around too, I think. I think that was the guy that was whooping Micah Parsons' ass. He's whooping Micah Parsons' ass. He whooping Micah Parsons' ass. All of them, but look at that. Like Osa get moved, man. So it makes it so that now let me see what Kenny Clark is doing on this. Boom. So Clark got moved out of there a little bit too. He got pushed out of there, walled off it, but he's being doubled. He ain't give him no yards, but he got turned. You know what I'm saying? But when you got everybody else just getting pushed back, it don't matter how good you playing if you Clark. It don't matter what you're doing over there. Because right behind you or right beside you, they about to give it up. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. It's like if you in the alley and you rumbling, It's 3 of y'all and 3 of the next team, but you only got 1 real fighter on your team. It don't really matter how many of y'all it is because they still giving it up on the other end. Let's see what Osa doing over there. Osa did all right on this one. Clark got moved this time. Let me see. Clark, I'm bigging you up and you gonna get moved like that, sucker. Clark getting moved. Boom. Clark gone. 79, man. Who is 79 again? This motherfucker. Look, he clear shit out. Look at that. Clark gone. God damn, Clark. Don't make me look like that though, bro. God damn. I did this randomly. So that mean you was getting that work. Let me see. Clark, get him again. 79, get him. Damn, that was a bad joint, bro. That was a bad joint. Let me see. What else we got? Now this is Toya. We already know what's about to happen to Toya. Toya 93 over there. Boom. Solomon Thomas got slapped. Yo, 79 slapping people, dog. Yo, 79 would have slapped the shit out of Thomas. Right? Oh, hold on. Why did it get? Oh, see it again. Hold on. Smack. God damn. God damn. He's slapping people, man. Then he got respected though. Let's see what we got. Who we got in here now? All right, Clark back in there. Let's see. Clark, come on, redeem yourself, sucker. What you doing? All right, now we got this. This is a 3-4 look right here. You see that? These are the looks that I like, right? So Solomon Thomas here. You're gonna have Perion Winfrey probably where Sam Williams is. You're gonna see Sam Williams playing 4-eye and also 5 tech or standing up outside linebacker, so on. But yeah, I like this rotation because this look right here gets all of our defensive line active and in heavy rotation. Everybody can play ball. Even look at Sam Williams on this one. He get to take off against a one-on-one, and then let's see. Clark is collapsed in the pocket. So is Solomon Thomas. They both collapsed the pot. Him and Williams and Clowney, they collapsed it pretty well. But Wilson, dumbass, comes in here on the wrong angle and screws everything up. Look at Wilson. There you go. Sam Williams running though. Hope they don't zap me. You know what I mean? Let me hurry up and make my point. Now let's see what Clark does on this one. Let's see. Come on, Clark. Show me something. He made a wall. Come on, Clark. That was okay. He still hit the ground though. But watch what happened to him on this one. So I remember this play. Clark got stepped on. Something crazy. The ball fell right on his leg. I'm like, people be don't be paying attention. Watch Clark's leg right there. You see his leg right there? Clark ran through 64, but watch what 68 do to his leg. He did this on purpose too. He got pushed by Solomon Thomas, but watch it. Boom. He fell. He jumped right down on it. Boom. Pause. That was crazy. That was a bad jump. Shouldn't have said that. But you know what I mean. Let's see what Osa and Toya do in the middle of the field here. Osa. Where you at, Osa? Osa and Toya. Wide open. Wide open. They had easy Joan at the bar after a couple drinks. Look at that. Osa double team. Look at Osa. Where he at? See, this is what we don't need from him. And this is why I say going to the 3-4 is going to be much better than this. Look at Osa. Now, Toya, he got turned just a little bit, but he's holding up. Fowler. Let's see. Fowler was holding up. He was getting held. Clowney was kind of in position, getting held, but still, they were in their spots. Osa, watch where he ends up. Oh, he got moved a little bit. Not too bad. Not too bad, but this still, you and Fowler, boom, got moved. Now, this is supposed to be your linebackers, though. They both running free. And this is my issue with James. I don't understand what James be looking at or what Murray. Now, Murray is going to read this way. Well, Murray over there, because he reading grass like he's in 3-4. And James, what are you doing? Boom, this is your tackle to make. He was late to it, too. Both the linebackers is late to the party. They don't know how to read. So now we back in that 3-4 look. Whenever we get in these looks, we do okay versus the run. And they got me lying. Look at that. Got me lying as soon as I come out and say it. But that's because you're the personnel you're using, though. Let me see what we got. So we got Clark in that 4-eye, which I like. Clark being disruptive, getting upfield. So him and Sam Williams went right upfield, but that's because they let him get upfield. Let me see. Boom. They let both of them upfield until he trying to spill or scrape over the top of that. But the problem I had on this one is Clark, the other Clark, the linebacker, 18 Clark. Get downhill and hit something. He ain't want to hit nobody. He want to play patty cakes. Simon says one of them, one of them away game. Boom. Look at that. That's beautiful play right there, Clark. There we go. That's what I've been waiting for. Get physical, man. Uh, him and Solomon Thomas on this play played pretty well. Let's see. Attack. Oh, off the snap. Solomon Thomas got pushed back a little bit, but he's getting a double team. Clark is one on one. He's already pretty much won, and he's stacking his guy. Like stacked him. Now he closed his gap off. All right. Now, boom, once my gap is closed, get rid of the guy and go get the ball. But now, Wilson is plugging. Yeah. Good play though. Good play. Clark and Osa in there on this one. Let's see. Boom. Osa hold defensive hold, and he's holding these guys trying to keep the linebackers clean. Yeah, Osa wasn't doing nothing on this one other than trying to hold. Like I think he was asked to hold because you see that center is trying to get off of him. He got a clothesline on him to keep him off of James, but James dumbass still get himself blocked. I don't understand, man. You wasting these plays, linebacker. Boom, Clark and Osa moved. Jesus Christ. This happened to Clark. I mean, Osa a lot though. So Clark is moving down the line of scrimmage, but he got washed out. Osa washed out. But at least the linebackers could eat because of it. So cool. It ain't too horrible as long as they stay free. Let's see, Osa getting beat on them cutback. They know to cut back at him though. This has been like this for years though. Watch this. Osa and Clowney. Watch how much space is over here. So Osa gonna get handled. He gone. And if you want to see what it looks like when you do it correctly, watch this. Him and Chauncey do it well on this play right here. Watch this. This is Quinnen Williams. So that same cutback. So they setting up that cutback right now. Quinnen right here. He see it. Boom. Stand this guy up, smack him right into the back. He got washed out a little bit, but he tightened up that cut. Same thing here with Chauncey. Chauncey see it. He like, all right, boom. This is what we want from Osa. You can't get knocked all the way to the other side of the ball. You gotta be there waiting for that cutback. But as I said, those of you who weren't on earlier, who didn't hear the beginning of the conversation, I said Osa in these four looks and these 5-2 looks, he's going to be a lot more explosive and a lot more disruptive because he's going to be able to get these type of looks where he's not the main focal point. Now you've made Osa your $80 million man. You've made him just another guy in a 5-man front. And that's good for him because he's going to get a lot of one-on-ones and he's going to be able to go back to being disruptive like this. When Micah Parsons was here, you loved Osa because nobody was paying attention to Osa. When Micah Parsons gone, Osa gets focal. He gets starter or playmaker attention, and he ain't that guy. He can't deal with the double teams and the added pressure. Osa's a guy that needs to be one of 5, even though I thought Parsons was too. When I was talking about Clark on that last play, watch what Quincy Williams does on this play. See how he gets downhill? And I'm gonna go back to Clark real quick, so you can see why I don't like him. You know what I mean? See how he gets downhill when he sees the same look, right? Same look as Clark a step forward instead of flowing over the top of this and getting caught by that guard right here. So you see this guard that's peeling out. I think it's a guard peeling out right here to the right of 51, right? Watch that guard that's right in front of Quincy, right? Clark wouldn't have taken this route that Quincy or 56 is taking right now. Clark would have went over the top of this, and if he went over the top, he would have met that guard that's looking for 21 right there. He would have met him instead of meeting the ball. Watch this. Watch. Where is he? I don't know where the player go right here. So watch this. Same type of look, right? But this is the difference, right? Right here, Clark can shoot. He could just shoot this, right? You can get right downhill, get across the face of this guy and get down there, right? Watch what he does. He flows over the top. See that? You flow over the top, bullshit like this happen. Now you give up yards because now everybody looks bad because you're a pussy. See what I'm saying? So these are the things that I don't like about this team. Like a lot of the ineptitude when it comes to just fundamentals, and then softness at key positions, especially when it comes to our linebackers and our corners. A lot of our corners don't really care to tackle. Let me see. Saw this play already. Saw this play already too. We don't gotta get there. Mm. Let's see. I think Morris might get it. Like, look at Osa even on this. Osa get moved, man. Like, look at this. Watch Osa. Watch it. Boom. He gone. Look at him. Gone. But at least Murray replaced him, scrapes and replaces his gap. But look at that. Boom. Murray gonna scrape off the hip right there and get where he's supposed to be. So Murray's where he's supposed to be right now. But Osa be getting moved, man. They be moving him like nothing. But I think Osa on a tackle, dealing with a tackle, he's gonna be a lot better for us when he got to deal with a tackle by himself. But dealing with guards and double teams, that just ain't been his cup of tea. He ain't been looking good. Let's see what we're looking like here. Smack. All right. Yeah, we back. Let me see what y'all saying, and then we can do this. He says, still waiting on the Cowboys organization to use their scat backs like actual scat backs. We have never done that. What like Westbrook, like what we wasted Deuce Vaughn. Like we could have used Deuce Vaughn here. We just didn't try to come up with nothing for him. Crazy. I'm not expecting toughness out of Blue though. Pollard wasn't necessarily tough. I think I read that already. No angles, no angle routes, no Texas routes, no option routes for our running backs. That's a fact. No rail routes, stuff like that. He said, wasn't Pollard released? He was. I would take Pollard back in a heartbeat. Once the offense gets dialed in, Blues is a comp player, just like Turpin. Yeah, yeah, maybe. Chris Jones, Jalen Carter, Aaron Donald, all won chips in the last 5 years. Defensive tackle are better than edge. That's a fact. That's a fact. Because if you can't stop the run, even though the only one up there that can stop the run is Chris Jones, because Jalen Carter and Aaron Donald ain't run stoppers. But if you can cause enough pressure in the A gap, you know you can be disruptive on your way to stopping the run or on your way to stopping the pass. Which I think Jalen Carter is that guy. He gets upfield and gets disruptive versus run because he's trying to get to the passer. And this year, he's looking pretty average. He ain't really doing shit this year. But the year's still relatively young. I guess he can have some problems. I mean, he can have some success later. Yeah, Donald had issues with Travis Kelce. Everybody had issues with Travis Kelce. Another end to pair with Donovan Ezra with safety and a backer. Yep, that's what you would go after in the draft. He said Wanye got to make that play. Yeah, Wanye got to make a couple plays. We got to do what we going to do with the $80 million player. He's now a rotational player at best, making 80 mil. Thank you, Jerry. LOL. His contract ain't that crazy though. But either way, I mean now he's trade bait. I would trade him if he's an $80 million player. Trade him somewhere. Get what I'm saying? Get him out of here. But I don't think that you go and get rid of. You don't get rid of whatever you do. You don't get rid of Quinnen Williams or Kenny Clark. That's what you don't do. If we do that, it'll show that it's politics. There's no way Kenny Clark should leave and Osha should stay. There's no way. No way. Akoye, do you keep Fluss if they improve on the defense? I think you keep. The reason I'm not arguing about getting rid of Fluss anymore is because I like to stress about things that I can actually change, and I don't think we're getting rid of Fluss. So that's why I stopped talking about it. Because if we was getting rid of Fluss, we wouldn't have made the move that we just made. So you don't go get Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson if you're getting rid of Fluss. You don't go get players that help complete his defensive vision. But to his credit, the only thing I will give Fluss and even Zimmer credit for, both of them came in thinking they were going to be coaching Micah Parsons. Zimmer went some time last year, an extensive stretch without Micah Parsons. And he discovered Demo in the middle of the season. He didn't even have a plan for Demo, and Demo ended up just being good. But he lost him as well in the season. So those players win games, and they lost games and still was able to man the ship though. Well, those guys were out, right? Same thing. Fluss came here to coach Michael Parsons, who he never got to coach. He came here to coach Diggs and Bland together, who I think he's only coached them together in 2 games this season. You know what I'm saying? So, he came to coach Donovan Wilson and Hooker. Both of those guys have been flip-flopping hurt as well. You know what I mean? So, and then he also has a Marshawn Nealon who dies in the middle of the season. So it's not the best, resume for Eberflus, but it's also the personnel that he has afforded to him. I can't say that he has everything he needs in front of him in order to make the type of impact that he wanted to make. You know what I'm saying? So hold on. Hello. What's up? I'm live. I'm live. What's going on? I don't care what we eat. Go ahead. All right. But yeah, I don't think he can have the impact that he wanted to have because he doesn't have the players that he came expecting to coach. So I will give him that full credit. I think that's one thing that we get away from is like it's easy to coach your team or be a good defensive coordinator and call certain plays when you got players that can make those plays or make those plays work even when they don't. Like if you call a wrong coverage and they're communicating wrong on the back end, but you got a hell of a pass rush, you can get away with some miscommunications. When you got a pass rusher that's gone and you got injuries on the back end, you ain't getting upfront push and you guys are miscommunicating on the back end, you're gonna give up big plays. I don't care who you are, you're gonna give up some big plays if you're giving them all the time in the world and your guys are injured and not playing together. It's going to happen. So Eberflus does have that as grace, but I think that's what the organization is looking at. They're like, we didn't give you the guys that you expected to have, right? So we're going to give them to you so you can go down with your own ship. So that's what Logan Wilson was about and Quinnen Williams is about. Now, if we don't improve and they end up firing him, I don't like that as much because at this point, I'd rather just see what he can do for a 3-year stretch. I really would, because I want to see continuity from the defensive coordinator position. Because I think players like Mozzie, players like Demo, players like Marist, players like Wanye Thomas, Israel Mukwamu, these guys are not being maxed out because of all the regime changes. Like these guys have been kind of pushed to the side when they were the future. And now they're going to get out of here before you even get to see them mature. And I mean, remember Chidobe Awuzie, you know what I'm saying? Chavaris Ward. These were 2 Pro Bowl corners. They weren't Pro Bowlers here, but they were 2. I don't know if Chidobe was. I don't remember if he made a Pro Bowl for us or not. But I know he went to a Super Bowl with the Bengals. And I know Ward has gone to Super Bowl with two Super Bowls, I think, with 49ers, and has been pretty good, right? So when you look at that and you see that those guys started here and then we just let them go and they, wound up balling elsewhere. We keep seeing shit like that. And when you see that, you know that the talent that you get in the building, you're not necessarily taking advantage of it anyway. So we haven't been the greatest at that. We'll have guys here who I think could do well, like a Izzy Mukwamu, and then he get washed out. You know what I'm saying? You got guys like, you know, I don't even want to say because people keep making an argument about it. But you got guys like Mozzie who's asked to be 3 different players in 3 different years, and then wondering why he didn't play well. And you can go all the way back to Roy Williams versus. I used to argue this with people who were like, I got Steelers fans for friends. I got guys who liked different safeties in the league at the time. But you had Ed Reed in the league at the time, Sean Taylor in the league at the time, and Roy Williams and also Troy Polamalu. And everybody was like, "Yeah, Roy," and Brian Dawkins. We would talk about how Roy couldn't cover and all these other things, but I said, "Yo, Roy is the only one that's dealing with regime changes. His entire career, when he had Zimmer knew what to do with him. When he went back to Zimmer in Cincinnati after he left here, he went back to being good because Zimmer knew what to do with him, right? Well, look at Troy Polamalu. He had Dick LeBeau his whole career. So he looked the same. He stayed steady Eddie his whole career because he had a defensive coordinator who knew the player. Whereas if Troy Polamalu would have played for Eberflus and he went and did his freelance shit for Eberflus, meaning Eberflus says stay single high and you run down and just use your instincts and make a play, Eberflus might bench you for that because he's not that type of coach. He like, I don't like you doing what you want to do. Well, it's not saying that Eberflus is wrong or right for that. I'm just saying different defensive coordinators like different players and allow leeway to certain guys and allow you to be yourself, right? Roy Williams couldn't do that. He had to adjust, and then he got worse and worse as you moved him further away from the ball. That wasn't his game. Brian Dawkins had Jimmy Johnson, the other Jimmy Johnson, for his whole career, for most of his career. Brian Dawkins was a beast. He was beast. He ain't start falling off. The Jimmy Johnson left. Then he went to Denver and played well over there. But Brian Dawkins was a beast if you can hide him in your defense. You know what I'm saying? Charles Woodson for Dom Capers. When he played for I think it's Dom Capers for Green Bay, Charles Woodson was like over the hill as a corner. They couldn't find a spot for him really at safety either. He was like, they didn't know what to do with him. They said, look, he a playmaker. He with good instincts, can tackle, and he knows ball. They played like he wasn't on the field. They just let Woodson do what he does. So sometimes he's guarding the tight end, sometimes he was blitzing. You know, I mean, he punching balls out, making plays like Peanut Tillman. Man, he was killing it because you got to know what type of players you have, and you have to put them in places where they can do what they do well, and they can see your vision. So you can't do that if you keep switching defensive coordinators. Your players get worse when you do that. Roy Williams is a prime example of that. Yeah, Ed Reed, who had Marvin Lewis, but he had Ray Lewis, really, who was his defensive coordinator for real, his quarterback on defense. And Ray Lewis knew what Ed Reed could do. So Ed Reed, throughout his whole career, kind of did what the fuck he wanted to do. And he was great because of that, because he had a team that was going to give him the leeway to give up a 20-yard pass here. Like, hey, what the hell were you doing on that hash mark over there? Just wait for it. Then the next time he lines up on that same hash, he gets the same look. They go to the pot again. Ed Reed pick six and it going back the other way at the end of the game. This is where that stuff was coming from, because he was able to set you up with things like that due to the continuity that defensive coordinator had, the trust that the defensive coordinator had with the organization, and the trust that the player had with that defensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? You don't get those things if you keep changing, because you get another guy in here, and what if he says, like, yeah, I can't stand Demarion Overshawn. Now, Demarion Overshawn is just suddenly trash, right? Or I don't like Logan Wilson, or I don't like Quinnen Williams. I like fast pass rushing defensive tackle. So Osa, you're back in. Quinnen Williams, I don't think anybody just says that about Quinnen Williams. But either way, you get what I mean. Different coaches like different things, different schemes, and each scheme is not created equal. So that does become a problem, man. But thanks for the question, King Reezy. I hope I gave it the time it warranted. The Panthers O-line go against a good front all offseason. So no tackles stand a chance. Yeah, man. Yeah, they ain't no joke. He said, look at what the tight end is doing to Sam. Anybody could do that to Sam with Sam only got one leg. They said Osa not dropping his anchor. He ain't got no anchor. He light in the ass, man. He not that big. Keith Clark and Osa not playing DN high dollar, so you can afford them both. Yeah, I think you keep Clark and Osa. You don't gotta play as a Raku for a while. He says seeing 94 out there made me tear up a little bit. I ain't even mention them because of that. I didn't want to bring the energy back to that. That's just a wild John, man. You said we ran more wheel routes with Zeke than we did Pollard. Yeah, that's dumb as hell. I would make you have to you have to cover Pollard just because I want to make the linebackers gas, like just run them. You know what I'm saying? That is what Eberflus really thought about with Micah. Yeah, he thought he had Micah. You ain't got no Micah. Pollard wasn't released, but he isn't playing well, and the Titans may not bring him back. Yeah, he ain't playing well because the Titans have historically played like a lot of downhill ball, except for when he had Chris, whatever his name is, the one who got 2,000 yards. Chris Jones. I don't know, but you know what I'm talking about. Aaron White kind of wanted Williams. He coached when Aaron was at the Jets. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, we know. He said, Akoye, we need another defensive coordinator ASAP. You ain't gonna get one. What's up, game changer? What's up, Paul? It's Chris Jones. Chris Jones, yeah. Okoye, off topic, but what's up with Ferg? Dude act like he got silly putty feet this year. Ferg slow as hell now. I think the money, they gave him money, he got slower instantly. It's crazy. It's Johnson. It's Johnson, not Jones. You're right. Yeah, but he got slow immediately. As soon as they gave him a check, he checked out. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I think that he got a shot to, get it back. I think he getting a lot of touchdowns. He getting a lot of possessions, but he never was a world beater, and I think he proven it because when you got these guys on a team with you, You should be killing it when you got the wide receiver core that we have. And then with Flournoy arising, and then we're gonna get Mingo back. Our receiving core with Mingo and Flournoy. Flournoy already proved himself to me. Then you got Turpin. So you got 4 receivers right there. And then you get Mingo. That's 5 receivers that I think are like, they mean. I like Mingo. So our offense is ready, and our defense don't have to be great for you to win now. Our defense can be average. We still gonna beat you because our defense don't need to be great. They just need to be able to get the ball back in certain opportunities so that we can get more at bats. That's it. You don't got to get turnovers either. Just get us the ball back so that Dak can do what he does. And when we're up, I think we could take the air out of the ball with the kind of running game that we have. So I'm just looking for our defense to do, something middle of the pack ish. You know what I mean? And I was upset about Sanborn being benched in place of James because I think I'm like, we got a shot at winning this season if you get James back out of there and let Sanborn do what he was doing in the beginning of the season, which was shoring up the run. Nobody argued about the run in the beginning of the season. Nobody was like, we look trash. And then I heard everybody and their mama talking about Sanborn all year, right? And I'm like, hold up. No, hold up. I don't see what the hell we talking about because I'm gonna go back. Let me go back. Let me go back to Donna. This is explosives. Ready tweet. Damn, I got a lot of film in here, man. Let me try to find something for my man Sanborn. Cause y'all was doing Sanborn dirty. I'm like, Sanborn ain't playing that damn bad. He not. He never was, but it's a problem though. Hold on. Run game. Let me see what this is. Let's see what this is. This is some Sanborn. Maybe here. Here goes Sanborn. Let's see what he was doing. This is just random too. Now that's his gap. He got to his gap. Boom. Good. Okay, changing direction. But up until this point in the season, though, we was okay versus the run. Like we was like, yo, middle of the pack. We look good. Soon as Sanborn got injured in the Jets game, we went downhill fast, and everybody forgot that Sanborn was part of the reason we played well versus the run. Like this here, this don't even look that pretty right here, right? Sanborn attacks his gap first. Boom. That's his gap. He in it, right? Boom. He gonna bounce this to the outside. He gonna get over the top of that though. Still make the play. That little move right there, you look at it as like, okay, it's average, right? But someone else would have got hung up on this block right here on 85, like Kenneth Murray would have. And this would have been turned up the field, and then Diggs would have had to make that play, which I think Diggs might have, but I'm just saying, Sanborn was doing an okay job. Clark wasn't. Let me get Clark out of here. I don't even want to see no reps with Clark. Get him out of my field. I don't like Clark as a football player. That was all that was all Hooker right there. Let's see what Sanborn doing this one. You see what I'm saying though? What's wrong with these reps? Nothing. But everybody like, yo, Sanborn was ass. I'm like, where? I'm watching the film of the bull, and I'm like, making plays like this, like, look, boom, get under the block, get off of that, right? Murray already got pushed out of there. So if he don't get off this block, like if he floats over this block, this is bad. He gets under that and makes that play. Do you see? Watch what happens to Murray and to that side of the field. Ezraku, Murray, and Osa. Let's watch. Osa got trapped, so he's sealed. Ezraku is widened out, right? Clark is on the backside of this, and then Murray right there. Murray took a false step inside. It's over. This is over, bruh. Do you see what's up in front of him? This is over. Boom. Sanborn. Beautiful. Erasing these plays. These are the big plays that we see now that you weren't seeing in the beginning of the season, at least all day. You saw him versus the pass, but you wasn't seeing him on the ground because of Sanborn. But everybody was like, get him out of here. And then we got motherfucking Shamar James in there. And the problem I had with that was like, all right, well, as soon as Shamar James didn't get in there, they're going to pray for Sanborn back. Nope, wrong. These motherfuckers start acting like he was playing good. What the I was like, y'all lying. If y'all like Shamar James and hated Sanborn, I can't even talk football with you at all. This play right here, I was mad at Sanborn for this one. I was mad at Sanborn. I was mad at Wilson because Sanborn could have made that play right there. He thought he was like pressing the gap, and Morris is too wide out. And Murray, what the fuck were you doing, Murray? You were waiting. That's what you were doing. So look at that. Murray waited and wound up chasing this play up the field. Did not like that out of Murray. But I could live with what I was seeing out of Sanborn. I ain't fronting when I said that. Like Sanborn looked good. And people saying he doesn't cover well either. I mean, come on. The idea that your linebacker is going to be a great coverage linebacker is crazy, but Sanborn covers pretty well. I watched a lot of his Chicago footage. So I think what you're hearing, when you say that, you're saying it, and I don't mean to be smart to you forever, DC, but I'm just saying I hear a lot of content creators that when I'm cruising through the shorts and stuff like that, I hear them talk about Sanborn and say that because that's the only thing they try to say to make it seem like, he should have been benched, as if Shamar James was covering. Shamar James is trash in coverage and trash versus the run. But Sanborn could cover well enough for a linebacker. So I think a lot of people are just saying that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anybody ever witnessed Sanborn just getting cooked versus coverage. It's just he's a linebacker, and he's where he needs to be. I don't care about anything else. Boom. Here. You see that? Like, get down here. You ain't doing no hesitating versus watch this. Just get down here, force him to cut back inside. He can't cut outside now. You know why? Sanborn right there. Boom. He got to pick one. And Ezra Rocker gets to make that play. Sanborn stood his guy up. Cool. I don't see bad reps here. Look at this. I don't see it. But now that one, he got blocked up pretty good, but that's a quarterback's knee. Care about that? I ain't counting that against you. What I count against guys is when, runs go at them and I can see that they're scheming for you. You know what I'm saying? When I even see guys start to make plays, I shut up about them, even if I didn't like the guy. I don't see a lot of that. That's why Murray right there is a will. Because Murray don't like, he don't like shedding no goddamn blocks. Murray ain't shedding shit. There goes Sanborn again. Now watch him flow through traffic on this one. Even though he don't make this tackle, look at him getting through the mess. He's still staying active. Like, I don't have a problem with none of these reps. And I don't care what the name is or who the guy would be or who this is. It was just like, are these bad reps? No. So when I started seeing that or hearing it so much, I got kind of mad that I was part of the problem with the jokes, because I would say like quick Sanborn and all that. And I think a lot of people started really talking like Sanborn was just ass out there. And I'm like, oh no, we miss him. I noticed we missed him when we started missing him. I noticed it. Let's see what we got going on in this play. Oh, this is a reverse. I ain't mad at nobody for that. I just want to see straight runs, regular runs, run the ball. See what Sanborn doing. No, this is a QB sneaker, keeper. I mean, just regular runs. Let's see Sanborn on this one. Look at Solomon Thomas. God damn. Look at the pad level on this guy. Watch this. His pad. Look where his pad level is pre-snap. Look at where it is now. Boop. Look where it is now. He's still down there. Pad level low as hell. God damn. That was nice. All right, there goes Sanborn, and Bridges clean that up. Let's see where he at this time. Come on, 57. This is just the Bears game. I got other footage of him too. But man, get out of here, man. Y'all be hating on the boy, man. You ain't seen Shamar James make no plays like this like consistently in one game at all. All his plays is behind ahead of the line of scrimmage somewhere downfield. Sanborn, he be balling. Not balling, but making solid plays. I ain't gonna say balling. I'm lying when I say that. I ain't gonna lie for you or on you. That's for sure. They tried that flea flicker again. Sanborn came, boom. Let's see. I just see a lot of Sanborn getting to the ball. I don't see a lot of bullshit. Nealon made a play. Look at Nealon, man. Come on, Sanborn. What we doing? Show them what your name is, Sanborn. What we talking about, man? This all the same game, so y'all can't say I'm cherry picking because I didn't even know what was on this film. But let's look at what he does versus how you don't want that on the field. I would take him, Wilson, and Demo all day. Y'all crazy. He's your third best linebacker on the team, I would say. Him and Murray could fight for it. Murray can cover better. He could play run way better. Let's see. Look at this shit. Come on, man. Come on, man. This the same game. This ain't no extra shit. This ain't no clip. This ain't no highlight video. And these ain't even cut up. This is straight plays. Look at this. So you can't say I don't get the impact ain't right. He took on his blocker, gets to his gap. Look at this. This is a lot harder than it looks. So this is his gap right here. He's in his gap right now, flashing, right? So he flashes. He knows he's flashing. He knows the blocker don't know. Oh, they got me. They got me. Yeah. Man. Am I back yet? Am I back yet? No. Oh, I'm back. Oh, man, they got me. My bad. Well, I'm not gonna be here for much longer. He said I like Sanborn but he doesn't cover what I said. He said he got reamed for and people forgot what he does great. He's great in the run. He could tackle, and he's a good green dot. Very true. Said Osa could be a new D-Law if Demo showed up and we could make a run. Yep. Osa, if you made Osa a defensive end, Osa's a problem. He'll be like Pernell McPhee. He'd be one of the best run stopping defensive ends. He'd be chaotic for and you would get him for cheap because he already $8 million defensive tackle, but you make him play defensive end. Oh man, him with those three on the line with a speed rusher somewhere on the edge, somewhere else. Like you put Ezaraku out on as a right defensive end, and then you got Clark, Quinnen, and Osa on the other side. Those three are stopping the run for real, for real. Just Osa, Clark, and Quinnen, and then your other guys, Dylan. That's if you got a 4-man line. But you got that 5-man line, you could bring another guy out there like a Clowney or whoever on the other side that is good. But yeah, they got me, man. Yeah, they got me something bad. Hurts my feelings, man. I can't do what I want to do. Winfrey at defensive end would be nasty too. I think I like the larger pause, but I like large defensive ends. I don't like the little ones that you can run right at. The Robert Quinns. You got to be a run stopper at defensive end. You don't got to be big, but you better be stout versus the run. You know what I mean? Like Von Miller could stop the run. How come Von Miller could stop the run? You know what I mean? He ain't big. He 230. He one of the smallest defensive ends out there, but he can stop the run. Von Miller can stop the run. Why come everybody else can't? Von Miller do it. You know what I'm saying? He do it well. Hold on. She said, "Good night, Akoye, all the time. It's time to go pray. Peace, all." Well, go get your prayer in. Thank you, Sadiqa. Yep. Yep. You're right, Troy. He is a Sam. All right. It was what we got. All right. Well, look, I was showing film, but they killed me. I ain't showing no more film because y'all want me to have this channel tomorrow. Gotta have that dog to stop the run. That's a fact. Let me see what else you said. Get O and Will and Wilson at middle linebacker, and Sanborn at the Sam. Dallas might have something. Oh, get Demo. So Demo at the Wilson at middle, Sanborn at the Sam. That's a good linebacker core. Like with Wilson here, he's so solid in the middle of the field that now everybody else's position gets stronger because now it becomes a position battle, and it's a righteous battle now. Before it was like, come on, Shamar James is not better than anybody for him to be battling for a starting middle linebacker or starting anything, right? But when you got Wilson in the middle of the field, and now you got Murray and Demo as your Wills, and then you got Sanborn and Morris as your Sams. I don't mind I don't give a fuck who start on either side of Wilson with that rotation. When Murray's out there at the wheel, I'm cool with that. Not if Demo's healthy, obviously, but when Demo's not there, I don't mind seeing Murray on the field when Wilson out there if he's at the wheel. because Murray doesn't deal with blocks as well. And when you're dealing with a guy like Murray who don't deal with blocks as well, here's let's see if they get me again. Here's some footage. Let me see. Let me remove this. Let me remove this and put this up here. Let me see. Real quick. Let me see if I can get this in before they get me. You see, do you all see him right? Y'all can see him immediately. When we in those 3-4 looks, look at how Murray moves. Like Murray reads, he's a 3-4 middle linebacker. Look how well he moves to the ball and his keys, like whatever his keys are when we're playing these 3-4 looks, he just looks much better than he does. See, that's 4-3. Look at it. 4-3, when you just ask him to go forward and get up there and take on a block, he don't do that well. But when you take up the blocks for him, you know what I mean, and you take up the line of scrimmage for him and you allow him to flow, he flows smooth to the ball when he don't get touched. I mean, obviously you want a linebacker that can deal with shedding blocks too, but Murray is just not that guy. When he don't got to shed blocks and he can just run to the ball, he moves a lot better. Let's see, they ain't gonna get me. I ain't gonna be on that long. I don't want to show. I want to show some Murray looks. Here you don't get touched either. Boom. Whenever he don't get touched, he look like an all-world linebacker. When he getting blocked like he is right here, look at it. He don't get off a block and do a goddamn thing. He stays blocked too long. That's the problem. Look at this here. He's still block. That's way too long. It should be. I shouldn't be able to say blocked one time. You should already be off it. I'm gonna show you the difference real quick. Block. And they got me again. All right, I'm gone.